Hey everyone, I'm Jim Schwabel, the CEO and CTO of Quome, and I'm here to present our company focused on being a compliant cloud platform for regulated industries. We've been growing 20% month over month throughout the Betaworks program, and we have 11 customers in production. We're here raising a seed round. And before anyone asks, this is actually a quokka as our mascot. And our team, which you'll see all the shirts around, they're our shaka, which is a group of quokkas. So hope you all can join the shaka. So we all know there's a large number of app builders out there now. There's 100x the number of app builders with Lovable, Claude Code. But we're finding that in the enterprise, there is a massive gap on getting these prototypes to production. We call this the compliance gap, and it's limiting innovation in most enterprises today. When I was at Verily, a Google Health subsidiary, we had about a ratio of 1 to 100 of security engineers to application developers. This was in 2020. So when somebody had to go out on PTO, paternity leave, we saw months of delay on our own team's division. We had one of the fastest velocity teams on our team. But today, that same security engineer is more like 1 in 10,000. The product manager is now an application developer. The marketer is an application developer. You guys as investors are application developers. We've talked to a lot of funds that are starting to build products from vibe coding tools. But this is causing a huge problem in security. Sliced differently, the build cost took about 65% of budgets of startups and enterprises in 2020. Now it's closer to 3%. The cost to build an app is nearing zero. And what we're seeing is absolute growth in the areas of compliance, maintenance, and infrastructure. Google Cloud, their revenue results last quarter, 63% up year over year in growing into the business. This is showing that there's a lot of growth here. In the enterprise, we see that the compliance wall blocks 97% of projects getting into production. Of the 1,000 ideas in the enterprise, only 28 make it, and we believe that this is a huge opportunity. And moreover, that we're seeing huge vulnerabilities. Using Claude Code, about 80% of the code being generated is Claude Code or related tooling. That's 2x the secret exposure on an enterprise network. So how do you know the Claude Code that you're using isn't putting the secrets in the next Claude training run? Big problem, especially with shadow IT in the enterprise. And we know from the recent breaches, like Vercel, that it's not the application platforms that are the issue. It's the solo developer that integrates with something that ends up causing a big breach down the line. We can't trust the supply chain, and we don't know where the next breach will happen. Let me take an example customer that we see with Forward Deployed Engineering. Art came to us. He was building a prior authorization application. He had a prototype. He said his CTO, who built this prototype, quit. He had 15 customers waiting to put his prior auth into production. He came to Quome, met with Colin, who's back there somewhere. I don't know where you are, Colin. And he built this application in 90 days. He re-engineered this legacy application from scratch using Fast API and React. It was a PHP application prior. And now I can say this week they're launching live with over 10 to 15 customers. This is what innovation looks like. And the blocker here was in compliance and security and reducing the cost from $500,000 in a year down to 90 days. At Quome, what we do is we integrate into your public cloud. You bring your Amazon Web Services account, Google Cloud account, or Azure account, and we make you productive as a developer. We go in and set it up and invest in 15 minutes, and you have databases, apps, and all the standard infrastructure you would use to deploy AI within an organization. Let me show you how this works. This is a live demo. So we have 3 different modes. Product mode is built for product developers. This is much like a Lovable-like interface where the marketer or the product manager can build an app end-to-end as a prototype. So we look at prompt to prototype as the first step in our user journey to build and prototype applications. We then have what we call developer mode. Developer mode is a mode where developers can use their standard tools like apps, sandboxes, like E2B like sandboxes, databases, storage, events. I was at DigitalOcean. It's a very similar story here. Once you get an app deploy or a database deploy, you have strong retention on a product. But this is where you can go and do a handoff from the product developer to a DevOps engineer and get from prototype to production. This dramatically accelerates the cycle time from getting a lot of those ideas to production, as mentioned earlier. Lastly, we have something called security mode. What happens when you have a secret leak? We have real-time detection on all of your infrastructure down to the minute level at all the deploys that are on your infrastructure. We do vulnerability scanning, we look at policy violations, we look at audit logs. Everything you need to pass an audit is in our cloud. You think of this like Vanta baked in from scratch without needing to actually use a third-party system. Ready for auditors or internal teams to pass reviews. So we look at this as a massive opportunity in forward deployed engineering, as mentioned. We start with forward deployed engineers. We go and ask, what problem do you want to solve? We build an app, an agent, or a workflow, and then deploy on our infrastructure. Once we deploy on our infrastructure, a lot of our customers can't go back. They're locked into platform licenses or subscriptions, and they already have a free trial and validation that our app or project works. We're growing really fast. So we have $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue and growing. We've around 85% gross margins, and we have a great group of customers across the healthcare, financial services, and other regulated sectors. We're very excited to be here today and to present what we have with you. We're growing in a huge market. As mentioned, the Google Cloud revenues are up year over year. I think it's validating that we're seeing more infrastructure, more deploys on cloud as costs go to zero. And we think this is a massive TAM, $4.2 trillion globally, as we see the revenues in cloud go up. One of the biggest blockers we've seen with startups is what's the time from getting credits to actually deploying an application. In our customers, we see that activation energy go down to roughly less than a day. We see also in the competitive landscape, us on the upper right here, as we've per org isolation, we're enterprise ready. Heroku just decommissioned their enterprise offering, and there's a big gap in market to hit enterprises right now with easy to use tooling, simple tools on top of public cloud. We integrate into the enterprise's network and infrastructure. We don't sell a separate cloud platform from what they're already using. We have a great team. I came from Verily, where we sold into healthcare and other sectors in healthcare with pharma companies. Ben Halpert led security teams from both private and public companies at McKesson and other companies. Colin, our lead forward deployed engineer and head of services, has grown our services unit with Ingrida, who's here today as one of our forward deployed engineers. And Terry, our chief revenue officer, has been in venture-backed startups for the past 10 years, growing revenue initiatives to go where we're at roughly $1.2 million a year in revenue to 10 million plus. We have a great team. This is a team to bet on and motivates me every day to be here. That being said, join our Shaka. I'm very excited for you guys to talk to us after. If you see us, find us in the t-shirts. We believe you can ship fast and stay compliant. We don't believe that compliance wall should be there. And we believe in the future where anyone can comply with security policies and not have a slowing of velocity. Thank you.